Thank you for joining us for another episode of Build Your Fort with Lentheus Chaney. I am Lentheus Chaney, and I'm here to talk with you a little bit about a phenomenal guest that I have today. Her name is Lana Williams. She's a personal finance coach with 30 years of experience in the financial expertise and successful money management solutions. But guess what, guys? She walked away from it all because, corporate world made her understand and realize that she needed more balance in her life. So here she is to talk to us about her story and to give you all some inspiration and some information on how you can manage your money and also walk away from corporate if that's what you want to do. So, Lana, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, and thank you for this platform. This is very exciting. So I'm very, very happy that you were encouraged and driven and led to do this.
Thank you. It's something that it's many iterations of something that I've done in the past before, and it's just come to the form of a podcast. So I'm grateful for it. And I'm grateful for people like you who've got that type of knowledge that you can share with the masses and let everyone know what it is that you're doing and how you can be of service to them and how they can persevere on to their next steps. Mm-hmm. So with that said, how and when did you make that transition from being in corporate world doing finance to actually stepping on your own and doing it yourself?
Yeah. So I actually did it probably about 6 years ago. And I've been a financial coach, self-employed in business for myself about 4 years. This is my 4th year. But yeah, I just, after, so many jobs, so many bosses, so many corporations, I just never felt completely fulfilled. And so things lined up. It was a good time financially, before I started digging into some other things, incurring debt, buying bigger this and bigger that. And I thought I would take the risk, and here I am.
So it sounds like you kind of prepared yourself before you took that jump. You didn't just get fed up one day and say, hey, I'm out of here. You did some things to, I take it, prepare yourself before you stepped out on your own, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. I am a finance person. I've been in finances, banking, investment advising, consulting, and I'm a frugal person. So honestly, I kind of, live that way. Like I won't say that I was fully ready to just jump out on my own without having income. But I've really kind of always been in a secure position. So that's my money personality, right? I'm a saver, right? Spending too much, gets under my skin, makes me nervous. So yeah, it was just, yeah, I was really just kind of there. So it was having the nerve and the confidence to take that risk. Really, that was the hard part. The mental and the emotional piece was the hard part for me. Yeah.
I can understand that. You're a unicorn. Many of us come from a background of, not many of us, some of us come from a background of not having that financial literacy. I understand that you got a lot of what you know before you even entered corporate world from your parents. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in a, what I call a financially conscious household. So I actually lived, my parents going from one I would say category, right? So when you say upper class, lower class, middle class, right? Going from one category and, live through the sacrifices, the savings, the we laugh today, right? You can laugh now. The summers of eating, fish sticks, pork and beans, because my parents had, taken a leap to invest in some property or do different things. So they always encourage saving money. We used to have to turn the lights off every time we left a room. I have a little video where I share that I would hop in the shower in the morning to get dressed, and the water was cold because my father had turned the hot water heater off, all those things in an effort to save money. So yeah, that was driven in, and you don't recognize that, right? You're not aware of that then when you're a child, and when you're growing up. It's just kind of how we live. But then, of course, as you become an adult, you find yourself doing those same things, right? Having those same patterns. So yeah, definitely grew up that way.
So, what was the feeling you had when you realized that that regular paycheck wasn't going to come, however you got paid monthly or biweekly? Tell me, was there any anxiety? Did you feel any kind of way when you realized that that regular paycheck wasn't coming anymore?
Oh my goodness, yes. Most definitely. And I let's I did, look at my finances. I did um kind of map out how much can I live on, right, per month, per year. And you have to set goals before you do that. So I need to make this amount of money by this date, right? So you want to set revenue goals for yourself. But the emotional and mental growth that you have to go through, or that I went through, um, jumping out on your own, is very real and very big. Even confidence, like I suffered from a confidence issue when I first started. I've been working with people in their money and businesses in their money and other banks in their money for years. But then I realized that I didn't have like some big corporation behind me, right? To say,
Mhm.
hey, she is qualified to talk to you about this or to teach you. I was out on my own. Um, so it was a big leap. So to answer your question, for a while it wasn't so much the financial piece for me because I knew what I could do. I knew my limits, right? But it was that, can I then generate and replace that income or exceed that income, and having the confidence to do that. That was really the big piece for me.
I totally can relate to that. I can remember I didn't leave. I was told that I had to come off a payroll. And luckily and gratefully for me, I had already started the process of paring things down a couple of years prior to that. It's kind of like God said, hey, something's happening. So I need for you to get yourself in order. So I basically shut my businesses down. I sold my car. I paid off student loans. I just did a lot of things that I needed to do to feel better about my financial situation. And bam, then 2 years later, I was laid off. And I remember even then, although I didn't have the same bills and I was going to be okay, I had a little bit of anxiety and a slight bout of depression, not having that money coming in on a regular basis every other week or every month. And it's a scary time. So I'm glad that you didn't have to go through that. But when you talk about that confidence, I began also taking jobs that I really didn't want to take out of fear because I was just so used to having the income. And it took me a minute to get out of that also. I take it you didn't have that same issue. You were already in financial coaching or managing other people's money. So you were able to roll back into what you already knew, right?
No, actually, I was in sales management. So the bulk of my career was in sales management with banks and credit unions. So I've done, other things with other companies, but yeah, I was, really, managing a team to, we call it sales. People that don't really relate to that in banking, but that's exactly what you're doing. You have to have so many dollars in loans per month. You have to have so many credit cards, so many deposits that you have to bring in. And so that was my last job is, teaching the bankers how to do that. So
Got you.
yeah, yeah. Um, Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're
Oh,
good. You're good.
yeah,
Finish your thought.
yeah. So really, when I uh, decided to do that, I think like a lot of people, it was a rub, right? It didn't just hit me. It was something that had been tapping, right? I've been having this tap for years. And I actually did it probably about 15 years ago, and um, I was doing budgets, and I was charging like $10, right? And I realized pretty quickly that I was not going to earn a living charging $10 doing budgets for people. So, I closed that up pretty quickly and got a job. And what's interesting is I found one of my old business cards, and you know how, when people start a business and they put their title as CEO or president or owner, I put financial coach. Had never heard of it, right? That was just kind of what I called myself. Um, so yeah, it was really just kind of a rub, and like I said, you know it was really just kind of the timing. It was do it now, right? Your debt is paid off. You do have some savings. You know what I mean? So this is the chance before you get much older, right? This is the chance if you're going to do that. And a big question that I asked myself was, what do you want the rest of your life to look like? That was the big question. And in no way did that include going to a job every day. It just never entered my head. So in my head, I'm like, you need to start planting the seeds to do that. To do the thing or find the thing that you want to do for the rest of your life. So that's really
Mm,
how that evolved. Yeah.
that makes sense.
hmm
Yeah. Let's talk about financial coaching. What exactly is financial coaching?
Yeah, that's a great question, Lentheus. So financial coaching is we work with, or as a financial coach, I work with individuals, couples on the foundation of money management. So most people are familiar with financial advisors, financial planners. They are more transactional, right? So that's when you start getting into the stock market, the bonds, that type of thing. But my emphasis is on your everyday finances and money management. So with my clients, we pay off debt. We build savings. We rein in your spending. I look at your bills, right? And so I always say I am the person that gets you ready for the next level. And the next level is when you start investing, be it investing in property, gold, whatever it is that you choose to do. But I'm sure you can identify as a realtor, I work on that foundation. And when you have a strong foundation, like if you think about a house, you have that strong foundation, then the rest of the building is solid. And so that's
That
what,
is so very true.
yeah. So that's what I do. And throughout my career, I just continued to see more and more and more a huge need for that. There's a need. I mean, the stats that says, what is it, 79 or 80% of America lives paycheck to paycheck, right? That tells you a lot that people aren't saving. There's a lot of debt out there. And there's a disconnect between how your money is working for you or not working for you. Yeah.
What do you think scares people the most about revealing their financial struggles or their just opening up the books to a stranger? I can remember, preface that by saying I can remember when I had bad money habits that I couldn't imagine. It was kind of embarrassing to be able to open up the books and show somebody that I've been swiping that card over and over again for frivolous things. And do you find people are fearful of that? And if so, how do you help them get over that fear?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, embarrassment is a huge thing. Especially like most of my clients earn, really good, healthy incomes, and uh, and at the same time, can live, paycheck to paycheck, right? And so you have that that thing of I should know better, right? Or I know what to do, but I'm not consistent or I don't do it, right? And we can relate to that in so many areas of our lives, right? I know the steps, but I just don't do it. Or I start every year and I fall by the wayside. So really what I do is I offer a free consultation, 20-minute consultation, and I just try to get people to that. I'm fortunate and grateful that a lot of my business comes from referrals. And so now it's coming from previous clients. So really, they do all the sales work for me.
That's a good thing.
So when people come, they're like, they're sold, right? Because they've shared their experience. But just getting people to that consultation and having the conversations, letting them know that you're not the only one, doing what you're doing or in the position that you're in. It's not that bad, right? And it is very fixable, right? Very doable. And you will have a partner, right? You'll have a coach to guide you and help you. And then with my practice, with my business, I really try to incorporate mindset shifts as much as possible, right? I'm not a therapist or a psychologist or anything, but I want awareness. So I do a lot of what I call soft exercises to help with that. Shifting your mindset, education, right? So I encompass a lot of those things. It's not just black and white dollars and cents because we want long-term solutions, right? We want long-term growth. Um, so that's it. But people are going to move when they're ready. I've had a couple of people that kind of buzzed around for a couple of years and then they pulled the trigger. And so I just keep just feeding them information. I always try to give value, even if you don't decide to work with me. I try to give you something to help you to the next level. Yeah.
You said something that sparked something for me. You said that I'm not a therapist or a psychologist, but there is some psychology to money, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's
and the reasons why we spend the way we do sometimes comes from the way we were brought up or some phobias we may have or some fears we may have of money. Same thing with people who have a fear of lack or abundance. It goes both ways. I understand that some people have trouble with managing money because of some of those psychological things that they've grown up with.
Absolutely. I've told someone not too long ago that of my clients, it does not matter the age, right? I have yet to have a client that does not mention how they grew up in relation to money and finances. My parents never saved, never talked about it. um, or that's all that they emphasize, or, every time my mother got paid, we went shopping. Um, 61-year-olds, it does not matter. Everyone refers back to that. And so that's a real big, real thing. In addition to marketing, that's huge, right? In addition to experiences, maybe when you were 19, 20, 21, and you did something and it messed up your credit, or you know what I mean, or you co-sign on a loan for a girlfriend or a boyfriend, right? All of those things add to um, how you see your money, view your money, and manage it today. Yeah.
Would you say that financial coaching is for everyone? You don't have to just be in trouble to seek out the help of a coach, correct?
Oh, absolutely not. No, 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 no. I mean, I have what I call, I do like personalized programs. And oh, yeah, I have a number of clients who are considered doing fine, but they want to do something else, or can't make a decision, or maybe move to the next level, right? So they have like specific things that they want to work on and talk through and want guidance on. So absolutely, no, no. Again, it's a partnership, and the relationship is very important. Like it's important that you feel comfortable with the person that you're working with, and that the trust is there. Like I'm big on confidentiality. Um, but yeah, it's not a trouble. I honestly have few people that are in what I would consider quote unquote trouble financially. Um, that usually those folks I will point in a different direction depending on what's going on. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about finances for entrepreneurs, people who are preparing to step out on their own, or those who already have left the corporate nest and they're out there getting their entrepreneurship journey on its legs. So what kind of tips that you can give them as they go through this process?
Yeah. So if I think about let's say someone that's considering it, right? Let's start there. Um, the first thing I would do is open a business account, right? Open a business account. Lend yourself some money. So you definitely want to separate business from personal, and so that's for those folks that are already out there. Separate business from personal. You want your business to be self-sustaining, right? You don't want to keep feeding it from your personal. So, something that I did personally is I pulled money from savings and I considered it a loan to the business, right? And then set a goal that I'm gonna pay myself back. So I know I have to make at least that amount, right? Um, and so start that business account, and then start researching. So because it's cash flow and cash reserves, right? You want to keep your finances simple. When you are self-employed, you are marketing, you are the business, your janitorial services, your accounting and finance, you are tech support, you're everything. So the last thing you want is to have financial struggles, because that is a huge monster, right? Um, so, get a feel for what it costs you to run your business every day, right? Every month. How much is that going to cost you? And that's research, that's talking to people that are already doing it, that's, videos, that's all the groups, right? Masterminds, that's all the types of things. Resources that you can find that information. Um, so, start that account, do your research. even you can start buying some of the little things, right? Some of
Mm.
the little things that you need, go ahead. If it's inventory, equipment, whatever it is, right? You can just start kind of building that. From the personal standpoint, you definitely want to save as much as possible. Again, remember cash reserves. So with you're operating with your cash flow, that's your day-to-day money. But you want money put aside because if, let's say, something goes awry, then you have funds that you can tap into. Or if an opportunity presents itself, right? Then you have funds that you can tap into. Um, so um, you want to save as much as possible. You want to pay down as much debt as you can. You want to minimize your personal expenses. That gym membership to the gym you haven't been to in 2 years. All of those things you want to streamline
What are you trying to say, Lana? Exactly what are you trying to say?
Listen, I have seen a lot of budgets, okay? And that one is always a pull. That one is always
I,
a
I,
pull.
I need you to get out of my account.
Okay.
So no, it hasn't been 2 years. It's been a few months. I've severely dropped off of the wagon since COVID. It's just, I was doing good at the beginning of COVID, and 2021, it's been a struggle, but I need to either cancel it or go.
Listen, I always say gyms have the best marketing. I mean, you're grandfathered in, like they have that system down, right?
They
And
do.
yeah,
And they make it difficult for you to get out.
right, exactly, exactly. So yeah, that's their bread and butter, right?
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing, but yeah, just streamlining those expenses because also you want your personal finances to be as stable as possible. Do you know what I mean? So that it's not the time to go buy a new car unless that's something you need for the business, right? You may want to hold off on buying the new bigger home right now. Um, so yeah, really, those are kind of those core things, and set goals, set revenue goals. It doesn't have to be a 1 year goal. You can set a 1 week goal, right? Let me just start
Yeah.
here. Again, keep it
Yeah.
simple. But yeah, just kind of understanding what you're getting into. Keep your personal, at a minimum. Save as much as possible, and don't overcomplicate the financial piece. Get QuickBooks or Wave or something like that if you need to, but try to keep it as simple as possible.
Makes sense. Wave is one of my favorites. I've been with them for many years,
Mm-hmm.
and they've evolved. They've gotten a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lifesaver at the beginning when I didn't know what I was doing. So, yeah, Wave is a free software. We don't get paid by them. I think we need to get paid by them. But they're a good software for those of you who are looking for some financial software out there.
Mm-hmm.
You have an ebook, I understand. It's called Financial Detox. What is a financial detox?
Yeah, that's good. Financial detox is the way I wrote that. The way it came about is there are things that I do personally, right, and that I teach clients. But depending on how long I work with a client, it's kind of hard to get into kind of those little daily things. And it's it's going through your everyday money, right? Your everyday finances. So it could fall anywhere from how much I'm spending at the grocery store, right? All the way to, when is the last time I've actually shopped my insurances? Have I been with the same insurance company for, 10 years? Have I been with the same cell phone company for 10 years? Here in Georgia, the gas company, right? And so the detox is going through and minimizing your expenses and your fees. So kind of clearing out, right, the junk, and then maximizing. So, I have a savings section where you actually look at the interest rates on your savings accounts and then compare it to the current rates today. And usually you can move that money and have a big jump and earn more on your money. So that's what the detox is. And then, there's some soft things, like I do a no spend weekend. That's a part. So it's 21 days and I just take you through various steps, but there's like a no spend weekend, right? There's going through your spending and just kind of being aware and looking at last month's spending. And, 9 times out of 10, there are things on there you don't even remember, right? What was that, right? And so that's what I walk you through in the ebook, in that detox. And so that's like kind of your precursor, right? So you're getting your existing finances intact, right? And then we build. And so then we start paying off the debt and building the savings, right? And reining in the expenses. And then from there, level 3 of the house is, you start moving into your money working for you, right? And so that's kind of the steps. But yeah, that's the ebook, and I love it, and people like it. So it gets good reviews, and just those little things that you just kind of let slide, and before you know it, 6, 7, 8 years have gone by.
So the detox is not a one-time thing. It's something that you work on continually, like you said, every year or every quarter, or however you set it up. Go through your insurance and make sure you're getting the right rates. Check your bank account to make sure you're getting the right, interest rates. Not interest rates, but the percentage of money that you get back from storing your money there. Or in your savings account. So things that you could do to put more money in your pocket. That's the easiest way for me to say. Also continue to just make sure that you're spending as less money as possible going out the door, and that you're saving as much as possible. That's an ongoing thing. Detox is not just one time. Just like we detox once or twice a year, we got to detox our finances as well.
Absolutely. So annually, every other year, is something that you want to do, definitely.
Okay. So I have a final question for you here. Someone comes to you and they're in trouble. Bankrupt or not bankrupt? What do you suggest? And are you an advocate for bankruptcy under certain circumstances, or are you one that says you should never file bankruptcy?
I am a advocate for what works best for the person or family, depending on their situation. So, I mean, they're depending on what's going on. Someone could be inundated with medical bills. There are so many situations where a bankruptcy probably is the best solution at that time. Again, it's stance and positioning, right? And what I mean by that is, just to be frank, if someone spent tons and tons and tons of money, right, and have tons and tons and tons of debt as a result of that, and they want to then file bankruptcy, really and truly, that's a bigger issue than not being responsible for the debt. Do you see where I'm going? That's much bigger. And so in a case like that, would I recommend, hey, you know what, suffer through this and pay it off? I don't know. I don't know if I would. However, I would not look at that particular issue, because what that means is you're just going to do it again, right? Like, where's the lesson? But if circumstances or et cetera, someone just can't get out of it. Life things have happened. They maybe try. The companies aren't cooperating, which you see a lot, and they just need a break. There's so many different scenarios where someone would say, you know what, do this, start over, etc. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I lied. That wasn't the last question. This is the last question. If you were not a financial guru that you are, what do you see yourself doing if not this?
You know what? I would be, if money was not an object, like if it didn't matter, right? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, anything.
okay, I would.
What's your dream? What would be your dream job if not this?
Yeah, it would be something so opposite of finance. I would either be in the art world. I would be, production or creative or something in the drama world. I would do, um, be a tour guide on dolphin tours, like something completely different, like all of those things that I just love, right? Like I love art, music. Oh my God, something in the musical field. Like I would just throw myself in there and like, give me a job, or what can I do, or I'll do it free, or something like that. Yeah, complete opposite.
Well, it's not too late. You can always follow those dreams. You've got the financial background behind you. So I implore you to one day get out there and paint the dolphins or whatever it is that you want to do creatively. Make sure you get an opportunity to do that for sure.
Thank you. Yeah.
Any last words you have for our listeners?
One is, this is the time. Like if you are looking for a sign to be all you could be and follow what your intuition tells you to do, it's so worth it. It is so worth it. Like, don't hesitate. If money and finances is the issue, there's so much help available. There's grants. There's so much to help support you. There are people, knowledgeable people. Don't put it off anymore. Right? Just go for it. Like we're here, right? We're here. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Well, thank you so much for that. I appreciate your time. I thank you for instilling your words of knowledge onto everyone and just being here today and giving us a few words about financial literacy. I hope somebody out there, and I'm sure somebody out there who hears your voice, is going to be able to learn something and move beyond whatever they're going through right now. So I thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for the platform to help people. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're more than welcome.